Shot and beautiful.
It's time for high school sports, right here on your home for local sports, the NCWLIFE Channel. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Biosports Physical Therapy, Charter College, Confluence Health, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Les Schwab, One Way Construction, Rivercom 911, Save Mart, and Sangster Motors. And now let's get ready for high school sports. It starts now on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE Channel.
Shot into the bar. Go, 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 go. Shot and beautiful.
And we welcome you to Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl for Wenatchee versus Selah in lacrosse. I'm Joel Norman, alongside Thomas Bass, happy to bring you tonight's action on the NCWLIFE Channel. Thomas, last home game of the season here for Wenatchee. We'll get into it. How you said it had some specific, special meaning to you beforehand, but let's talk about this. Wenatchee's had a nice weekend here, and this is also their fourth and final set of back-to-backs this season. What are we expecting out of Wenatchee this evening?
Well, this evening I would expect to have Henry Nelson come out of the gate nice and hot. We have a season-ending injury with Andrew Vandershelley, unfortunately there. Those two were a real two-headed dragon, if you will. Now the fact that he's out, the offensive load for Wenatchee is going to really fall on Henry Nelson.
It sure has recently. Saturday scored 4 goals, had 2 assists to lead Wenatchee to victory and snap, at the time, a 2-game losing streak. Then again, Wenatchee would win last night. You mentioned Nelson. He scored at least once in every game this season. Season high of 5 goals against Chowana back on March 31st. But as we mentioned, this is that final home game, and a lot of seniors getting their last chance to really suit up here tonight for Wenatchee. Thomas, talk about what that means just for you as a coach here at Wenatchee Lacrosse, what it means to see these guys suiting up maybe one last time here.
Well, it's a heck of a feeling for me, personally. I graduated in 2011 and immediately came back in 2014 and started assistant coaching with Brandon Parker. That's actually how we met. And then as our careers and building lacrosse have come about, I have gone back down from high school to middle school a few times now. And this senior class is my first batch of 7th graders that I ever got 6 years ago. We've got Carson Reiner, Henry Nelson, a few others out there for Wenatchee, who I have had for, I believe, their entire lacrosse season or career, except for this season.
Pretty neat to be able to see that, and hope for big nights out of them here as well. Going up against the Selah squad, who Wenatchee defeated earlier this season. That was all the way back on March 21st, 14-8 at Selah. A long way back. Looking at that game, how much is there preparation in terms of a game like this where you're looking back at a game that far away, or is it kind of more focusing on recent ones, Thomas?
Oh, well, you've got to honor your opponent. Selah likes to run a little bit of a zone defense. We'll see if they actually pull that out here. But what you've got to do is play your game. Your game is what got you here, and what got you here is what you got to ride with.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams real quickly here. We'll begin with Selah. At first, the attacker is number 0, Michael Ray. Midfielder, number 1, Brian McCracken. At midfield, number 31, Ethan Garcia. On defense, number 32, Elijah Washburn. Attacker, number 41, Jaden James. Watch out for him. We'll talk about the work he's been able to put in recently. On defense, number 51, Tristan Lawrence. Defender, number 52, Jerry Schmidt. In goal, number 61, Joseph McCracken. On the other attackers, number 62, Seth Height. And finally, the defender, number 69, Dante Gonzalez. Looking at Wenatchee's lineup, in goal for them, as you mentioned a moment ago, Thomas, is number 1, Carson Reiner. On defense, number 2, August Kreider. The attacker, number 3, Henry Nelson. As we mentioned, he's been playing extremely well recently. On defense, number 4, Andrew Mathena. Midfield, number 15, Owen Graves. Midfield, number 21, Charlie Jorgensen. On defense, number 23, Cadell Velasquez. Attacker, number 26, Kenny Gilman. Fellow attacker, number 27, Matthew Job. And at midfield, number 33, Theron Sorum. Getting ready for the opening face-off here on a warm night at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl as we are underway. Wenatchee is in white, Selah in the kind of a darker navy blue. They control play right now. As it's brought along the far side, Tristan Lawrence bringing it up. Passes it off near about the 20-yard line, far side. Jaden James holding it right now. Officials this evening, Brian Walker and Ryan Fancher. Pass back up top to Ethan Garza. He holds in the midst of a couple of substitutions. Selah led by their head coach, Josh Davenport. Brandon Parker, the head coach for Wenatchee. As it's passed down back near about that 20-yard line. Held now work behind the net. And pass now to the near side. Seth Height sends it back near the 25 or so. As it's brought away. Dylan Huffines holds. Now he's looking to try and make a move. Bodied away. Good defense there from Wenatchee, but that is going to draw a penalty, it looks like. Play continuing here. Here's a shot, and just wide. And we've got a stoppage in play now. Thomas, we had Selah kind of controlling the opening attack right before that marker there. I didn't see what that one was.
Looks like we got a slash there on number 21. I think that's Charlie Jorgensen. Looks like he got him in the face mask, which is technically illegal.
So Jorgensen out right now. Selah controlling possession. That first shot attempt sailed just wide. Wenatchee has not touched the ball yet. Selah has been very patient in this attack. Brought in Michael Ray. Shot goes just a bit wide and out. Selah will retain possession.
Yep, Selah looking to take advantage of the power play here. They are man up currently. Wenatchee in a box and one. 4 people around the outside, 1 in the middle.
Ray feels some pressure. Tries to sneak one up top. Stopped. And denied by Carson Reiner. Doing a good job staying high on that one. So here's a pass that comes up near midfield. Long stretch play ahead. Going the other way on the attack are the Panthers. Or Wenatchee. The shot down low. Missed the rebound. And they score. So Wenatchee gets on the board first. That's going to be Kenny Gilman getting the first tally with 10:10 remaining here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, well, that one just started nice and easy with Carson Reiner making a great save, staying high, and then easily getting it out, staying under control as he had an attackman in front of him, then faking him out, getting the ball up to the open midi, then that midi hitting a guy in transition for the fast break goal. Selah's goalie making a great save, but the rebound for KJ there, just too much for him.
You're right. It was a shot down low. You kind of kicked it out, but Gilman just in the right place, right time. And that was a really quick developing rush for Wenatchee. Like you said, that fast break really coming through.
Yeah, lacrosse is all about speed, man. Like the old adage is speed kills, and in lacrosse in particular, it is the fastest game on 2 feet.
Selah controlling play after giving up the opening goal. A little bit of a battle here. Selah's going to come up with it. Ethan Garza, senior midfielder at Selah High School, controlling it. Comes in just a bit, now backs off. Bit of almost a 360. Tried almost an underhand pass. Had that tipped away, but it's still controlled by Selah. Brought out wide as they'll kind of set up the attack. And so far, Thomas, it seems like they're really trying to space things out initially with their attacks.
Yeah, it looks like Wenatchee is setting up in their patented box and 2 design. It is a zone defense, allowing outside shots. But when you have a goalie like Carson Reiner, you're allowed to do that. The only way that this works is if Cadell there in the middle is able to double the ball up top, and then you'll see him bump down as August Kreider, number 2, works his way to X. Cadell taking his spot in the middle.
Seems like a situation like this almost benefits Wenatchee. You have more time to fully set up your defense all the ways, which you were just talking about.
Well, I mean, when you have a goalie who can handle a shot from the outside. Oh, there he goes.
right on the second there. There's Reiner bringing it well out of the box. Avoids a little bit of pressure, sends it up towards midfield. And that one's let go by, as Kenny Gilman let it go across. Selah in control once again.
Smart play there by Kenny, letting his goalie get back in cage.
Yeah, I was going to say that was exactly the right thing. You had to delay a little bit with how far out Reiner was.
Also, with the advantage of the long pull there at the 50, you don't want him to kick it back over by accident. You let that one go, you fight for it, hope the other attackman on the other side can do it.
So Selah sets up once again, 8:20 to go here in the opening quarter. Wenatchee striking with just over 10 minutes remaining. It was Gilman picking up the goal. Pass is tipped away. Wenatchee picks up that ground ball. Sent toward the middle. A little bit too strong as that went just a little bit past Luke Smith. It's going to be corralled up at midfield. Selah coming in on the attack once again. It's controlled by Huffines. Pass toward the middle. Now there's a shot and a save made by Reiner. Saw that one all the way. Bouncing pass comes through. I hear goalie interference on that?
Yep, if the goalie is in the crease and he passes the ball and the follow-through makes contact with an opposing player, it is a free clear. The crease is a protection zone for the goalie. Goalie's not wearing the same pads as everybody else. Also, they are often focused on the ball and not on a blindside hit. So, if you make contact with the goalie while he's in the crease, no matter what, we tell you, throw the ball and follow through and hit the guy. Free clear. That's exactly what Carson did.
Yeah, you're right. He did follow through on that. I wasn't sure how that would work, but the defense was right there. But you're right, a little bit too close. As this pass goes just past a lunging attempt by Matthew Jobe, goes out of play, and it'll be Selah possession now. Our broadcast today being brought to you by Biosports Physical Therapy. Find them online at biosports.net. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Some good physical body defense there, trying to prevent the clearing of Selah there.
And just gotten past midfield. A couple of whacks in on him, but Michael Ray able to get away from the pressure. He's controlling it, trying to have his teammates move aside, nearly colliding with McCracken there. Passes it up to Jaden James. As I mentioned at the outset, he led the way for Selah their last game this past Friday. He had 3 goals that day. Scored 8 goals in his last 3 games overall. So look to see if he can perhaps get one. This one's sent in. Bird weaves it out.
Here's another guy you got to watch for, Michael there. He is a big body attackman, and he loves to use his size to push the offense.
Scooped up by Wenatchee. Thwarting a chance there after a couple of errant passes from Selah, as it's brought the other way now by Jorgensen. He'll pass it off. Sent down low. I'll work behind the net. Henry Nelson holding on to it as he'll bring it out wide. Nelson sends it up top, far side. Wenatchee in the midst of a couple substitutions as Derek Brault just comes on, and he'll receive the pass. Brault sends it right along the goal line. Now it's work behind the net. Panthers Wenatchee taking their time on this attack. This is really the longest sustained attack they've had so far, Thomas.
Yeah, the game is all about winning the face-off. Possession is key in this sport. You can't score if you don't have the ball.
Now back behind the goal again. Kind of working all the way around the world. Now they make a move. It's Nelson bringing it around the pressure a couple of times. Getting poked at. Lost the ball. He'll scoop it back up. Somehow able to still hold on to it amidst all this pressure. A couple of checks on him. Looks like he was able to pass that off. Wants it back. And he'll receive it. Henry Nelson holding, surveying the scene. Sends it down beneath the goal line. Now it's Jobe holding it. Jobe still looking a little bit. Looks like he's trying to get a jump start. Now he makes a bit of a move. Looking to center it or perhaps get a shot off. Takes a couple of whacks from the long stick. Passes to his side. Mathena. Evan Mathena passes it over to Owen Graves. Graves over to Nelson. He's reverse side to the field. Now behind the net again. 4:50 to go in the first period. First quarter. It's Wenatchee leading 1-0. Now Brault brings it over to Evan Mathena. Down to the side again. Wenatchee pretty much, it's been the same set here for the last 3 rushes. Now Nelson making a move. Gets a shot and scores. What a move. From 0 to 100. And he makes it 2-0 Wenatchee.
That is exactly the possession that you want. You want to get your guys on, settle the ball, get the substitutes in, your offensive powerhouses in the game. Then you start working them around. Maintain possession. Henry took a little shot there earlier, the first time he tried to dive. Got double-teamed, lost the ball. Wenatchee maintained possession, ran the same set, worked it around again and again. Then they ended up getting a goal. It actually just happened to be Nelson, even though they tried with 2 other people. Yeah,
you're right. There were a couple of other rushes. He had a couple good chances, and he, like you mentioned, when he was double-teamed, was still able to kind of keep the possession alive. So 2-0 Wenatchee after Nelson gets them on the board with their second of the game with 4:32 to go in this first quarter. Talked about Nelson scoring in bunches lately, and he adds another one. And as you talked about, Thomas, it's nice to get that scoring. He was someone you said to watch out for with Wenatchee dealing with an injury right now, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Vandeschelli is a heck of a midfielder, and when you don't have that big offensive powerhouse that you're used to having, it usually falls on the attack to do it. But now,
there's a shot down low. Ryan are able to stay with it. Might have caught his knees or so. Possession still controlled by Selah. Samuel Merrick. He'll bring it around as Selah tries to get another rush themselves. They dominated possession in the first half of this first quarter, so to speak. Wenatchee was able to capitalize on a fast break the other way, and then we just saw Wenatchee with a long possession themselves. Henry Nelson getting their second of the game. Wenatchee leads 2-0, but Selah trying to answer right here. Here's a shot, but Reiner sees it the whole way. That one coming from Ethan Garza. Pretty much had a clear path there, so he had a good sight of that one all around.
Yeah, what a dime. Hit him right in the ear. If there was a bumblebee sitting on his shoulder, he would have taken its wings off.
Looks like near midfield, Charlie Jorgensen a little bit shaken up. And I think he's going to as best as he can, make his way off right now.
He's fine. I've been yelling at his family for about, 10 years now, so...
So you're the fair judge of being someone's health right here. You know?
Oh, yeah, just get back out there. You're fine.
Shake it up for a moment, so we'll look to see if he gets back out there. Here's Nelson, the most recent goal scorer. Sends it all the way up top, where it's held onto by Sorum. Sorum brings it toward the near side. Luke Smith. Smith down with a stretch pass ahead to Nelson. He makes a move, slips up at the last moment, retains possession of the ball, but lost it on that second go-around, and it's scooped up.
Yeah, Wenatchee's just got to be smarter about maintaining possession. So far, Selah has held this ball, 80% of the game, something like that. Wenatchee, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, Joseph McCracken's pass intercepted, though, right at midfield. You're right, the possession has gone in the way of Selah so far, but Wenatchee with a rush, and that shot goes out just a bit wide. But you're right, Wenatchee needs to get some more sustained attacks going.
Yep, that shot that just went errant there. No backup. In lacrosse, if you don't know, after what is deemed a shot, whoever's closest to it when it goes out of bounds on the end line or whatever else maintains possession. In that instance, Wenatchee wasn't settled. They didn't have somebody behind the goal, and therefore the goalie was able to run back. Not a great possession for Wenatchee.
You can see Wenatchee trying to have a couple of attackers sprinting to argue their case, but that wasn't going to go. Wenatchee bringing out across far side. A little bit of miscommunication. Ground ball scooped up for a moment. Now settled and then lost right as I say that. It's Theron Sorum controlling. Passes it over to his left to Henry Nelson. Works it down low. Kenny Gilman, beg your pardon. Him and Nelson go back and forth. The 2 goal scorers so far for Wenatchee. 1:50 to go in this first quarter. Now Luke Smith to his right. Looks and finds Matthew Joe. Joe bringing it in. As it was worked down low, now out toward the far side. Nelson back up top again to Sorum. Theron Sorum bringing it around. Pass a little bit too far. Able to be kept in. A nice job there by Gilman in the corner. Meets a little bit of pressure. Sprints past it. Gilman dancing toward the net. Had the ball poked out of his stick at the last moment there. Scooped up in front by Selah. Trying to clear it out. They're able to get it toward midfield. Bobbled a little bit by Merrick. Works it ahead. And brought into the Wenatchee end by Seth Height. Height trying to get it back over to Merrick. Couldn't quite, but Merrick able to settle it. Passes to his right. Jaden James holding it. Looking back in Merrick's direction. Merrick will call for it and receive the pass. Selah slowing things down. 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Wenatchee leading 2-0. Vikings looking to see if they can make perhaps one last move in this quarter. This pass intercepted, taken right away by Wenatchee. Lots of space the other way, meanwhile, for Velasquez as it's passed in front, and the shot goes just off. Might have gotten a piece of the goalie, McCracken. Settled in the corner. And we've got a foul. I believe that's going to be slashing, if I'm not mistaken. Long pass toward the far side. Velasquez with a long stick leave. Substitution coming in for him is Brault. Wenatchee will get a chance to be a man up here. It sure looks like as it's controlled in front. Cycled around the shot. McCracken just got a piece of that one. And a whistle as it goes out, as that will do it for the first quarter. 2-0 Wenatchee. The goals coming from Gilman and Nelson. Gilman at the 10-10 mark, and then Nelson with 4:32 to go. And after one quarter, 2-0 Wenatchee. We'll be back in just a moment at 60-second timeout here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned. a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Joel Norman alongside Thomas Bass. It's 2-0 Wenatchee against Selah so far. Thomas, let's get your quick reaction from that first quarter. Wenatchee was in their own end a lot to start that quarter. Got a rush the other way, got the first goal, got a long sustained attack of their own, made it 2-0. What'd you take away from Wenatchee's effort?
Yeah, Wenatchee is playing their game. They need to maintain possession on the offensive side of the field. Selah is actually doing exactly what they need to do to win this game. Having played them before and having lost earlier, Wenatchee setting up in their zone-style defense. Selah setting up in an open style, not allowing their two defenders in the middle to cover anybody. They are maintaining possession, taking good shots. For right now, Carson Reiner is able to keep the net clean. But if Selah maintains possession like this, I expect it to be a lot more closely contested. Yeah,
I mean, you look at possession on its own, and if that's the story, then we're saying Selah's winning the game. But of course, that's not what's going to deem the scoring, of course. But I think Selah has done just about everything they've wanted, except put one in the back of the net. It sure feels like, Thomas.
Well, they really are. They're working the ball around. They're getting at least decent shots. But Carson Reiner has just made, I think, 2 or 3 saves that I would have expected to be goals, and he's just really stopped them. If Selah keeps possessing this ball, I don't imagine that he'll be able to keep it that clean for that long.
And there's going to be games with a lot of high scoring overall. I mean, you look at Selah, their highest scoring game, they had combined 21 goals March 24th. They scored 17 that day. I don't think we'll see either team get that perhaps today, but who knows?
Well, if Wenatchee can get a hold of the ball, their face-off guy for Selah is doing an excellent job. Or I guess the whole face-off team. It's not just one player. It's the entire line that's doing it.
Two teams switching sides. Selah controlling it right now. It's Michael Ray. Pestered the whole way. Looks like August Kreider right on him that whole time. Able to get a piece of that stick and scoop the ball out, and controlled by Reiner. So far, his shutout going. But like we said, you would expect Selah to get on the board. And that next goal right now, it's a cliche, but that's a huge one. And Wenatchee's trying to get it here. Here's Nelson on the attack. Shoots low, off the ground, and in the back of the net. And it's 3-0 Wenatchee with 11:22 to go in the second quarter. Right out of the gate, another goal for Nelson. You had him highlighted for this one.
Oh, man, I feel bad for a goalie. Having played goalie for 4 years in high school and 1 year in college, you got no chance on it. You're lucky if you make 10% of those saves. And against an attackman like Henry, if he misses that goal, he won't sleep for a week.
Played it right off of the turf, bounced up high. That's tough to read. I know this
impossible.
Yeah,
impossible. The worst shot in lacrosse for a goalie is a bouncer that hits the top bar, and it just did.
Oh, it was just barely in. He was able to get a piece of it. As Wenatchee able to win the faceoff toward their end as it's scooped up. Cato Velasquez trying to keep it in play, able to do so somehow. And now we've got a whistle.
Oh, we had an early release call, so possession had not been called yet, and Selah stepped out of the box. The attackman stepped out of the box, trying to help the midfielders obtain the ball, which is illegal.
Brian McCracken heading toward the sideline. Coming in for him, Dylan Huffins. Also Dominic Ayala coming in. Wenatchee making some substitutes as well as Selah's in the midst of the attack. Kenny Gilman heads out. Isaiah Cummings comes in. And Selah delaying, waiting to get all their personnel on the field. Now perhaps going on a rush themselves. Ayala meets the defense immediately. Far side of the field. Works it up top. A little bit of space as it's brought to the right side. Shot from far out. Snared by Reiner at about his knees. That's an awkward angle to make a save on, but able to stop that shot. That coming from Jonas Winterstein as Wenatchee rushes the other way. They've got one so far this quarter, leading 3-0 overall. Ball bounced a little bit short, able to be scooped up on the far side, but we do have another whistle.
That would be failure to advance. So you've got 20 seconds to make it over the midline, and then from there you've got 10 seconds to make it inside the box. Wenatchee apparently didn't make it inside the box in those 10 seconds, going the other way.
So Selah gets another rush here. Tiptoeing the sideline far side as it's brought up back toward the Wenatchee end. Pass down low. A lot of pressure there as it's held on to by Seth Height. Height holds, and as he gets away from it, passes it up top. Dominic Ayala delaying, gives it now to Huffines, senior midfielder at Selah High School. Work down along the goal line, now behind the net. Michael Ray, another senior at Selah. Reiner's turn to completely face him, as you might expect right now, keeping his stick up high. August Kreider comes into defense, centered in front, a shot and a save, I believe. And on the rebound, they are able to score. Reiner made the initial stop. It bounced right back over to Height, and he was able to put that into the back of the net and get Selah on the board. Reiner did just about everything he could right there, Thomas. A lot of pressure in front.
Yeah, the problem is that Michael is just that big body, like I talked about. Be looking for him to make at least an impact as far as assists, maybe not in the goal situation, but he draws two people just to stop his size and his strength. The dude is just a monster. I played against him last year when I was the high school coach. I had to put the best defender in the state on him just to keep his body from pushing somebody over.
Jeez.
He's a strong kid. Like he carries it really well, too.
And we've seen him do that plenty so far tonight. So Height gets the goal. It's the first of the game for Selah, as they are on the board a minute and 1 second after Wenatchee made it 3-0. And at that time of that Wenatchee goal, we said, hardly were able to say it as this goes out of play. Hardly were able to get it out with how quickly Nelson was coming up the sideline. But that next goal was huge. But Selah has responded to keep this one close and just a 2-goal differential.
If nothing else, it's a morale booster. You don't want to go down 4-0 against an already zone defense. Zone defenses generally are for you when you're down in a game. Wenatchee started out like that, and it's been very effective.
And we saw them do that a lot, and Selah didn't get as many chances as they wanted. A couple great saves by Reiner in that opening quarter.
Yep. The zone defense specifically gives up those outside shots, but that inside shot, that's where Reiner's going to make his paycheck.
Selah controlling, work now behind the net. Pass in front, Reiner has to turn around. Might have gotten a piece of that shot toward the net. Hard to tell. That was a low one coming from Brian McCracken.
Wenatchee dodged a bullet there. They left that guy wide open.
They did, and that's tough for Reiner, too. As we mentioned, he's got to completely turn around, and no one had him checked in front.
That's right.
Lost stick up at the middle. Going over to corral it is Cadell Velasquez. They still fight for it. Got a whistle, and the officials point toward the Selah defensive side as Wenatchee quickly tries to get a chance the other way. Here's Nelson looking low, and he's got another one. Henry Nelson makes it 4-1 Wenatchee. 8:15 to go in the second. He has scored each of Wenatchee's last 3 goals and 3 of the game's last 4.
Yeah, that last one was a lefty for him. I believe he's a natural righty. As you see him walking away, he's got the stick in what would be his more dominant hand, his right hand there, as it faces to the right. He finished with his lefty on that to give himself more angle so he didn't have to go behind the back or anything else. But like I said, it's hard to stop him. It's hard to stop him with a double team, and when you're in a fast break situation, we've only got one guy to stop him. Difficult.
And Thomas, what was that whistle for right before it? It was hard to backtrack on that. We had to quickly jump ahead for how the play was going.
Yep, so it is illegal to push somebody in the back in lacrosse. If it's a loose ball, if it's on the ground, then somebody gets hit in the back, they land forward on their stomach, it's going automatically possession to the other team. If they have the ball and you hit them in the back, it's a 30-second penalty. More of a slap on the wrist. It's not sporting to hit somebody in the back if you're not ready for it. Yep. But if you're doing it by accident because they spun or they turned by accident, you hit them in the back, 30 seconds. If your team can handle that, then we're back to even. No problem.
And Wenatchee knew it immediately. Clearly they weren't me, obviously, but they knew immediately, and they were able to take advantage, as you mentioned, getting immediate possession and going on a rush right there to lead to a goal.
Right. Well, I mean, I hope they better know that by now. I've been screaming at them since they were in 7th grade to pick that ball up.
Pass faked in front and then turning around Ray, a very dangerous opportunity. It looked like it got off the far side of the netting, just off of the net. Reiner didn't have to make a save, but it was pretty darn close.
Yep, he was in position, just went a little bit too far to the left, I believe, for the shooter. Hit the outside of the cage.
Now it's Ethan Garza making a move as he passed it off. Right side, right in the middle of that pressure. There's a high shot, sails over the head of Reiner and the crossbar. Jaden James on that rush, sophomore at LaSalle.
The only bad shot is if you don't have backup or you hit the goalie in the chest. If you shoot it wide and you have backup, you might as well just pass it to X. Starts over.
Once again, it's Ray from behind the net. There's a move in front, tried to feed it, faked the pass initially. There was a centering move from Garza. Instead, he passed it toward the near side of the field, looking for McCracken. A little bit too strong for him, makes it out of play along the Wenatchee side of the sideline.
I'm surprised they're not using him to drive a little bit more. He's obviously working the offense from the X position and looking to pick it apart with some passes. But I would start to use him to drive a little more. Draw the double team before you have to look for that pass.
And at the very least, just changing things up a little bit to surprise Wenatchee.
Oh, I mean, the whole thing is that it takes two guys to stop that guy.
Nelson going for a fourth. Had it tipped in front. Scooped up by Selah. Played back toward the goalie. Kraken passes it up along the far sideline. Worked up into the Wenatchee end. There's a stop. A little bit of a delay. Pass toward the center is lost. Ray thought he had a piece of it. Thought it was in his stick, but lost it. Taken up the other way by Nelson again. He scored on this far side last time. Looking for a shot. Passes beneath instead. Comes back toward that angle. There's a shot on net. Nice save made. And McCracken will take it out himself. Right up the middle. Passes to the left.
I wanted to see coast to coast.
Have you seen one of those before? I mean, that's got to be incredibly tough to make.
Plenty. The way you do it is when you're a speedy goalie like that, and then when the middies up top aren't ready for the shot. He had them beat. I, as a goalie, would have loved that opportunity. One, for that speed, which I do not have. And then, two, to have the middies completely with their pants around their ankles.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, he had them. He dished it off. I would have gone straight through him, tried to run the fast break.
It was a reason why Selah didn't delay right after his pass, kind of like what we saw Wenatchee do before when Reiner went up.
That's exactly the idea. The person who's most ready to accept that ball is the goalie, and if they catch it, nobody else is facing that direction.
Here's Ray looking behind the net, scooped in front, looking on the backhand. There's a little bit of contact in front. It looks like James was shaken up. He met a couple of defenders right in front. Reiner's giving his appreciation, though, because he didn't have to make a really tough save there. James was shaken up right in front. Looked like a little bit of knee-on-knee contact there, Thomas.
You'd never like to see this. I once heard somebody say that the worst thing in sports was losing Game 7. I once heard that the worst thing in sports is losing to your little brother or losing to your son. The worst thing in sports is an injury.
Yeah, something like this here. James is still shaken up a little bit. We'll take a quick timeout here and be back in just a moment. We'll take a
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver. Shopping cart, because Les Schwab helps keep us safe with brakes, steering, and more. Eyes ahead, Dad! Know what those guys back there offer with their tires? Toilet paper. But Les Schwab gives the safety by the carload. Turn here! We're kind of a big deal here.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Back here on the NCWLIFE Channel, it's Wenatchee versus Selah at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Jaden James shaken up a little bit a moment ago. He was helped off the field. Head coach Josh Davenport able to get him out. Back underway, though, with Wenatchee leading this one 4-1 with 4:56 to go in this first half. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you by Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, providing heating and air conditioning service, installation, and repair since 1982, serving residential and commercial. They specialize in indoor air quality. Selah on the attack. We've talked a lot so far about their possession numbers to start this one. Worked up toward Michael Ray. A lot of times on these sustained attacks, Thomas, we've seen Ray behind the net, but we talked on that last rush about perhaps Selah changing things up this time around, and at least so far early on they are on this attack.
Yeah, I mean, you put your best shooter in position to shoot. So if you have somebody like Ray or like one of these other guys that they've got, you got to put them in front of the cages if you can.
Huffines tried to pass it over to Merrick. Merrick looked like he was thinking a little bit ahead too much. Lost it. Controlled by Wenatchee. Andrew Mathena. He's got a lot of space. Plays with a long stick to his left. A little bit too strong for Evan Mathena. As we've got a whistle here.
Yep, looks like Wenatchee was offsides. Going to be a 30-second penalty if that stands up.
Seemed like the only reason why they were off was that pass not connecting, so to speak. I think if that pass had gone through, I think they would have still been on. So.
Oh, it's on Selah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have an offside on Selah. Again, the gentleman's rule. We were playing 6-on-6 or 6-on-7 if you're on defense plus the goalie. If you step over that line, 30 seconds.
So Wenatchee playing a man up, 4:08 to go in the second quarter. They lead this one 4-1, 3 goals so far for Henry Nelson. So they'll control the attack now. Owen Graves to his right. Now it's worked down low. Controlled underneath by Job. Cycles around and back to Nelson. Straight away, held on to for just a moment, then pass to the right. Now it comes right back to Jorgensen.
Nelson's going to be open on this second one around here.
Well, watch for him. He's wearing number 3 in white near side. Job.
He's open now. Oh,
looks on the other side.
Nice.
There's a grounding shot. It comes up a little bit high over the crossbar and out of play. You're right, Nelson was open, but Job kind of changed things up. I think Selah would have said that would have been pretty predictable had it gone to Nelson, but instead they changed it up.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew saw something else. And Owen was open. Oh, going to get another chance.
Nelson up top, now to the right side. He wants it back, and he'll get it. Nelson looking across, sends it.
Cranker.
Over here. Here's a grounding shot again that bounces up and out. But Wenatchee will retain possession. That shot coming from Luke Smith. Nelson to Job. Job delaying. Wenatchee's offense in motion, including Job himself, making a move. That's a shot off down low. That skips wide. Wenatchee will remain on the attack, though. 3:04 to go in the second quarter. 4-1 Wenatchee.
Now, Wenatchee's finally getting a good long possession here. They've scored all their goals in transition or something else. This is what they need to do in order to get sustained offense.
Job tried to move, backed off after he was met by a strong defense, and it's passed toward the far side. Gilman down to Nelson, looking back up top. A tough pass, kind of a knuckler for Sorum, able to control it. Theron Sorum passes to his left to Jorgensen. Holds onto it, now makes a little bit of a rush. Shakes off the check, gets a shot off, and scores. That's Charlie Jorgensen. Looks like he's all right after having his knees shaken up earlier. Dr. Thomas over here, Thomas Bass coming through with that prediction correctly, and Wenatchee's able to get a goal. That'll make it 5-1 with 2:27 to go. And like you said, that strong pressure from Wenatchee coming through, really their first sustained attack like that where they had several shots that didn't go, but were able to continue possession and get a goal.
Yeah, just mentioning Charlie and me being, kind of errant and, not really caring about him getting off the field. His whole family has been tough as nails. His older brother is graduating from West Point this year. He's been playing offensive midi for them for the last 4 years. His second older brother, I should say, Jack Jorgensen. He was a goalie. Fourth generation from my own tree of coaching.
Okay.
And that kid can take a shot. So I saw Charlie go down, and I thought, he's going to be back in this game.
And he sure was, and he's on the score sheet now. The 5th goal of the game for Wenatchee. Again, that coming with 2:26 to go. Wenatchee wins the faceoff as it's controlled by Sorum. Meets a little bit of pressure, able to pass it off to Graves. Then we've got a quick whistle. Waiting to see what that call was.
Looks like a timeout, but the official just threw a flag out of instinct.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I believe it's a no flag. Yes.
I saw the pointing to the Wenatchee bench, and I'm like, I'm 90% sure this was the timeout, but I did see the flag, and that's what he's doing right now.
Just waved it off. I think it just either fell out of his pocket or he was reaching for something. or sometimes you're a referee. The only thing you get to do is throw a flag. Sometimes it's fun.
Right?
Just put it on the field. Why not?
You can't blame him in a lot of ways if that's the instinct. You're doing it enough times. Sometimes in football you see him toss the hat as like it's not a penalty, but it's a stoppage of some sort.
Right. Well, normally that's because they ran out of flags.
That's true.
I believe every ref carries 2 on them, and if there's a third penalty, you throw the hat.
That's
right.
But
you know what? I just like throwing stuff.
I can't blame them. I'm surprised they don't try to throw them further.
Well, I'm surprised they don't have water balloons or something.
They might in the car. It's a warmer day today, kind of cooling off a bit now, but
trust me, as a player, I would love nothing more than to just be absolutely doused on a hot day.
You imagine that there was a penalty, instead of doing the flag, you just pelted them with the water balloon instead. The person who committed it.
You know what, sir? I think you just fixed baseball.
There we go.
Yeah, every time you get struck out, you either get slimed or the umpire throws a water balloon at you.
Back to the dugout.
That's right.
Tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by Save Mart. Shop smart, shop local, providing outstanding value and service since 1962. Also by Sangster Motors. The American Challenge is on at Sangster Motors, home of the all-new Yukon SUV. Talking about cars, got to remind you, coming up this Friday. The Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade will be televised live right here on the NCWLIFE Channel. That'll be at 6 p.m. this coming Friday. Of course, the Milk Growers Grand Parade the next day at 11 a.m. here on the NCWLIFE Channel. 2:18 to go in the second quarter. It's Wenatchee leading this one 5-1 so far. They took the game's first time out, their first overall, and it's 2.5. Am I correct there, Thomas?
That's correct.
So they've taken one so far. We'll see if they need another one. Might see Selah take one if they're kind of stuck in their own defensive end, I would think. The way Wenatchee's controlled possession late in this, not just this quarter, but this half as well, you wouldn't blame them in a lot of ways.
That's right. You can only call a timeout when you have possession, but it would be advantageous to Selah to settle it down, do what they've been doing for the first half, although Wenatchee appears to be just too fast.
Jorgensen trying to use some of that speed right there. Couldn't get through a couple of defenders. He split the first one, the second able to get a piece of his stick, and he lost the ball as it's controlled by Selah. Brought up now by Height.
Smart play by Selah. Again, the way that they're going to win this game is with possession. Carton's had a great game. The defense has let up outside shots, but this is how Selah's going to have to win this game. Keep the ball out of Wenatchee's potent offense.
Dylan Huffines holding on to it. Working out toward the far side. Takes a couple of whacks along the way. Now does a spin. Comes in, backs off. Centers in front. The shot. Seen by Reiner the whole way. It was Axton Height trying to get it off. A bouncer just in front of him. And Carson Reiner able to get the stop as Wenatchee pushes the other way. They've got a little bit of an opening. Matthew Joe bringing it over toward the near side. Nelson to his left. He'll pass it to him. Henry Nelson, 3 goals so far tonight. Pass underneath to Gilman. He scored the game's first goal. Back to Nelson. Just over a minute to go in the first half. Wenatchee looking to tack on perhaps one more goal before the end of this quarter. Spinning in and out of pressure, it's Brault. Passes back up top to Smith. Smith works it toward the right side. A little bit of a leap from Gilman. He's able to settle it. You can see Gilman, the wheels just turning as he makes a rush. Gets a shot off the left side, and it goes, might have caught a piece of the cage, goes a bit wide. Wenatchee will retain possession with 40.7 to go.
Not a perfect shot, but with short time, you got to shoot your shot when you got it.
Switching sides up, too. That's got to be difficult while in the midst of the rush.
Oh, it's a heck of a skill to possess.
Nelson turning, gets a shot off at the last moment, stopped by McCracken. As there's a shove right in front. That'll be a foul. And Selah scoops away with it. Looks like that was Derek Brault, who was shoved down for Wenatchee. Scooping up was Brian McCracken, trying to get a late rush the other way. That penalty going against Selah, though. I believe that's going to be against Dante Gonzalez, the senior defender from Selah High School. So Wenatchee a man up for right now.
I think Dante got a little bit of help from that guy being a freshman, just being a little smaller.
Just a little bit there.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're just bigger than the other guy.
So Wenatchee a man up the final 21.7 seconds of this quarter.
Now Wenatchee's going to look to get a quick shot, but after that they want to maintain possession. This is a 1-minute penalty, and if you go into a quarter or a break, then you get free possession, no face-off.
Trying to get that quick shot off. The pass in front would not go. Pumped out toward the far sideline, out of play with 7.2 to go. Scooped up by Selah.
Now, Selah's coach is saying to send it, but if they maintain possession,
there's a long send that you talked about.
If Wenatchee has this ball if Wenatchee had that ball when that horn went off, that would have been no face-off. Not a smart move.
Selah wanted that late goal, though.
I mean,
in a way, you can't blame him. And you saw a great rush from Ray in front. It was just bobbled. Reiner kind of met him right where that pass was, but it's a gamble either way. You talk about, do you want possession, or do you want to get one goal and maybe send your guys into the locker room with a little more excitement?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Either way, a couple of gambles there that they were thinking about and had to weigh. But that does it for the first half. 5-1 Wenatchee is our score as it's halftime here at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35-plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver. Shopping cart, because Les Schwab helps keep us safe with brakes, steering, and more. Eyes ahead, Dad! Know what those guys back there offer with their tires? Toilet paper. But Les Schwab gives the safety by the carload. Turn here! We're kind of a big deal here.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Joel Norman alongside Thomas Bass. It's Wenatchee leading 5-1 in their final home game of the season and off to a strong start. They got the game's first 3 goals in this one, as it was Gilman striking with 10:10 remaining. After that, we had 3 in a row from Nelson. After the first 2, though, got one from Height for Selah. It was Axton Height getting the first goal and only goal so far for Selah. Henry Nelson with his third with 8:15 to go in the second. And then he was shaken up a little bit earlier, but sure didn't seem like it on that rush. Charlie Jorgensen getting the final goal of that half with 2:27 to go in the second quarter. So it was 2-0 Wenatchee after the first quarter. A combined 4 goals, but Wenatchee outscoring Selah 3-1 in the second as they take this 5-1 lead into the, you would say locker room, but they're really just in the corners here, Thomas. So it's a metaphorical in that sense. But Thomas, your impressions from that first half. We talked a lot early on about possession being dominated by Selah. Kind of stayed that way in the second, but it almost felt like a few times fatigue might have set in a little bit. Selah's down a few players. I mean, you just look in the corners right now and you notice the difference in to a sense here. And that was something that head coach Josh Davenport was talking about for the Vikings, is that they kind of need a few guys to play a little bit bigger because you're missing some guys. So how does that translate in a lot of ways for the second half?
Well, for the second half, if you're worried about fatigue, that's where it's going to start to really kick in. If you've already seen it in the first half, it's going to just get worse from there. Really what I've seen is Selah doing a really good job of keeping Wenatchee from using their numbers. They are settling the ball on offense. You can sub when you're on offense. If you're on defense, if you sub, you're going man down for 15 seconds as 2 people run on. So the longer you have the ball on offense, the more fresh legs you can sub on while keeping their tired legs on the field. So Selah is doing what they need to do. The problem is you've got a guy like Henry Nelson who's got a hat trick in the first half, pushing the pace. His stick skills are just too well coordinated. He's got too good of an understanding of the offense. And then the other thing is Carson Reiner has had, 6 saves or something like that? 6-1?
Right around.
Yeah, and really, many of those were legitimate saves. Wenatchee's defense is designed to give up outside shots. Carson's eating those up, but it's the inside shots that are really impressing me. And then his ability to work the ball to his midfield and attack who are pushing the fast break.
Reiner made a lot of big saves in that first quarter. I didn't feel like he was tested as much in the second. The 1 goal Selah scored, it felt like he didn't get a lot of help from the defense in front. It was one of those situations we talked about, you're turning around real quick, an opportunity in front, and they cashed in on the rebound. And Selah's had the pressure. They were bound to get one, and frankly, I'm surprised they don't have a couple more.
Again, it's going back to Carson. That one that he gave up, originally he saved the first shot, doing the hard part. The rest of it was a garbage goal. Somebody kicked it in, or it went off, somebody goosed it in with their stick, golfed it in. Other than that, Wenatchee's playing a really good game defensively, and then they're able to push the speed with fast break.
You mentioned Henry Nelson. He's now scored and continuing this streak, scoring in all 13 games of the season. The last time these two teams played, he had 2 goals and 2 assists in that one. 3 goals so far tonight. Season high is 5 against Shawana back on March 31st. A lot of game left, so that's definitely still well within range here for Nelson, but it's been a really strong effort all around. Wenatchee, I feel like the biggest difference for them, they've been able to hold off a couple of stops. We keep talking about Reiner's been huge in net, but Wenatchee's been able to get a couple of rushes. And if fatigue is at all a concern, Thomas, I would certainly think Wenatchee's going to get a couple more, perhaps odd man rushes the other way in the second half.
Well, Selah is keeping Wenatchee's defense on the field, and defense is what tires you out. Like I said earlier, you can't sub on defense. So if Selah wants to keep doing this, they just need Carson to catch the flu or something.
Well, there's not a lot of time for that to happen here. 4 minutes to go before the second half, but we'll keep an eye up on that. I wish we had Eric Granstrom might have to act as our sideline reporter right now to get an update on that.
Gotcha. When you see Selah go up next to him on crease and start sneezing intentionally.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by One Way Construction. Your project, your way. Find them online at onewayconstructionnw.com. Also by Harvest Valley Pest Control. You can rest assured Harvest Valley Pest Control uses kid and pet safe material around your home or office. Call today for your free estimate. Just a couple of minutes to go before we get going with this second half, so we'll take one last timeout. It's at halftime here at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. 5-1, Wenatchee leading both of these two teams tonight included. Only have 2 games left in their season. Wenatchee's looking to end their home schedule on the right note. We'll be back with more in a moment here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
The new Hummer EV is everything you want in an all-electric vehicle. It's powerful, reliable, comfortable, and will take you anywhere you want to go, on-road or off. Why buy one of those lesser EVs when you can have one that uses them for traction? Order your Hummer pickup or SUV today from Sangster Motors, batteries included.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can lift this up.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Just about ready to get going with the second half here from Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Joel Norman alongside Thomas Bass as we get just about set to begin this one. It's Wenatchee leading 5-1. They had picked up 2 goals in that first quarter, shut out Selah in that frame before adding 3 more in the second quarter. Selah got 1. That was Axton Heights scoring with 9:21 to go. But pretty much the big thing about this one has been Wenatchee responding. Whether it's been a sustained attack or just giving up that 1 goal. They scored less than a minute after that, with Henry Nelson picking up his third of the game. But, Thomas, it feels like the ability of Wenatchee to respond, like I was saying, whether it's been an attack, whether it's been giving up a goal, that's been huge so far. And that's going to be something that has to continue in the second half, because you figure Selah's going to try and come out strong. They weren't really sitting back at the end of that first half. You and I were debating that both on and off air a little bit. They kind of took a little bit of a gamble, and in a lot of ways, if we do have a face-off to begin the second half, I imagine they're going to try and take another gamble if they can win that and go the other way.
Well, if you're Selah, I mean, you've got to really try and take the ball away. You need the ball back for 4 possessions at least. At least 4 fast breaks, at least 4 solid possessions to even tie this game. Now, Wenatchee on offense is probably going to keep the, their foot on the gas, to say, for at least the next quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Selah, you're looking to take that ball away and you're looking to get goals quickly because you got to fight your way back into this game somehow.
No, you're right. I think if you can tack on a couple here for Wenatchee in this third quarter, depending on how many you give up, you're talking about that fourth quarter pretty much just trying to sustain possession in a lot of ways.
If you have the lead, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it depends how many we're giving up, if there are going to be any given up, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
Talking about these two teams, they're both coming into tonight on 2-game win streaks. Wenatchee, a pair of wins over Hanford. And I mentioned this at the outset. This is their 4th and final set of back-to-backs this season. And in those games in which they have played back-to-back, Wenatchee really hasn't had too much trouble so far. They've won 2 of those 3 meetings, looking to make them 3-1 here. Is there really, we hear that in every sport as we're getting ready for the opening face-off here. But, Thomas, how much of an issue is that back-to-back? Is that one of those things where it doesn't really seem to settle in until late in the game here in the second half?
Well, I've got to say, in lacrosse, a full contact sport where you're allowed to just hit each other with aluminum shafts, back-to-backs absolutely play a toll. I mean, Charlie Jorgensen came off the field limping. I'm not even sure if he was hit. He might have just been sore from his first game.
That could be. Got a whistle far side, possession to Selah here.
Yeah, they're wearing pads on their hands and their elbows for a reason.
Yeah. And it's still not enough padding for the sport, but you don't want any more because then it's going to be too hard to run around for how far they have to go.
Right, you can't glide on skates. You can't use your momentum to carry you through like you can in hockey, which is fine. You've got to love hockey. But, you have to maintain your momentum and your speed by just your feet alone.
Couple big whacks from Ray there to bat it out of Wenatchee's sticks for a couple of moments. Wenatchee trying to fight for this ground ball here, able to scoop it up, looks like near about the 30-yard line on the far side of the field. Pass ahead for Nelson, a little bit too strong. He's able to settle it in the corner. Now Nelson sets up the attack, kind of calls off Isaiah Cummings, who sets up on the far side.
Open.
Here's the pass in front, and a goal. Passed in front to Gilman, and he's got his second. He opened the scoring, and now he's got the latest goal of the game with 11:06 to go in the third.
Yeah, just from the start of that, it looked like nobody saw him on that backside. The only person who did was Henry Nelson there, getting his first assist.
Everyone else kind of backed off, you're right, but he had a lane and just a sharp angle like that. That's a hard play from McCracken, the goalie there, to pick your spot, but just a better shot in a lot of ways from Gilman.
Yeah, I just got nervous about calling it out for Nelson in the second quarter there when Matthew hit, who was it? It was Charlie Jorgensen for that goal.
That's right.
But I saw Kenny on this side, and I just was afraid to call it out.
Yeah, well, they don't hear you from up here unless you yell it, and you're not that loud at least.
Though I've done that before on the sideline. I have given a coach a good idea because I yelled my idea too loud, and he went, "Oh yeah, I think I'll take a timeout." So I taking the coaching hat off is sometimes hard.
That's got to be a little. That's a little tricky.
Trying to keep it a secret. Hey, KJ's open. KJ's open. Throw it to him.
It was open there, was able to cash in. Nelson feeding him for that goal as this one on the ground. Ray trying to scoop it up, able to kind of just delay, used his feet to fight off the defense. It was Velasquez trying to take it for Wenatchee.
That's what you expect Ray to do. He's a strong guy.
Settled in the far side. Still surveying the scene. Jaden James looks like he's already gets a shot off after the flag was in the air. A little bit wide. And a penalty coming up. Is that cross-checking I'm seeing?
It looks like it. So in lacrosse, you're not allowed to use your stick as a weapon in between your hands. Your fists have to come together, and your hands have to be touching when you use that two-handed punch. There, his hands were too far apart, and what made contact with the offensive player was a bare stick in between somebody's hands, which is a very, very dangerous thing.
Yes. I'm glad you clarified that, too, because I think there's been, especially on that last rush to begin this half, I think fans might have been seeing a couple of whacks. Ray, in particular, was getting a couple in, but all legal plays where he was able to get a couple of whacks because he kept his hands close.
Yes.
He's got the ball right now, just about even with the goal line. 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. Wenatchee leading 6-1. Only goal for Selah going to Axton Height. That came back with 9:21 to go in the second quarter. Right around nearing that timestamp here a quarter later. Centered in front, bobbled, fought for, whacked away. Still no one really controlling it as they fight for it. Selah scoops it up. It's loose in front. I think there was contact with Ryan or a flag in the air. But this was probably going to be on Wenatchee, I believe. Ray made a little bit of contact in front with Reiner as he was playing it, so I thought we're going to see a similar penalty to what we had back in the first quarter. But it's Selah holding the ball right now.
Yeah, Wenatchee with 2 guys in the box, it's going to be a box and 0 situation, or a triangle and 1, if you will.
So you look at this on the defensive end, just 4 players there for Wenatchee, so that makes things tough. And right out of the gate, Selah tries to get a shot off. It was blocked in front, and Wenatchee might get a chance on the rush the other way.
That is the wrong play. If you pass that ball 6 times with only 4 people on the field playing defense, the 6th pass will be open.
That block in front of Reiner was made by Velasquez as he heads over to the bench for a well-deserved break. Didn't look to be shaken up too much after. I don't know if fans realize how hard the ball is when it comes in and pelts you like that. And like we said, you've got some padding on, but really not that much in the grand scheme. I believe we've got a timeout called here. We'll take a quick timeout ourselves as well. Be back in 60 here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE Channel.
We're just about to get back underway. Tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by Les Schwab. They take your safety seriously every time that you stop by. Just 1 goal so far here in this second half, scored by Wenatchee. Kenny Gilman getting his 2nd of the game. I'm Joel Norman alongside Thomas Basson. Wenatchee currently playing with a man down right now, Thomas, but Selah didn't really try to set up a sustained passing attack on that rush. We thought, they've been doing that the whole game. They didn't really do it on that last one. It kind of led to an opportunity for Wenatchee and a good stoppage for them in a lot of ways as they were able to call that timeout.
Yeah, when that play started, Wenatchee was 2-man down. When it comes to working the ball around, if you have 2 extra guys, it's going to be difficult for the offense to, not get an open shot. And the first thing they did is shoot after the first pass.
It was so uncharacteristic of them considering how they've played so far in this game before that point.
Very surprising considering how well they can control the ball in even-man situations.
Nelson passes it toward the near side, scooped up and down a couple of times by Kenny Gilman. Flag in the air as Nelson controls again. Henry Nelson with 3 goals so far. Fakes a couple of times, now works it all the way up top. Cummings with a shot and a save made, and there's the quick whistle. So Wenatchee was playing a man down, and now we'll see what this call is going to be. Going against Selah this time.
Yep, going to be an illegal body check on, I believe, Kenny Gilman, and then I didn't see who got the hit.
I didn't see who it was on. You're right. Gilman was affected in the near corner here. And it looks like that's going to be against Tristan Lawrence, sophomore at West Valley on defense. So he'll be out for a moment here. And that evens things up once again with both teams with 1 player on the box.
Not for long, though. I believe Wenatchee's going to release a player here soon. There he goes.
Yep, right, just like that. Onto the field in his place comes Luke Smith.
And right here is where you're going to see what Selah should have done. They're a man up, so they want to work the ball around. They want to make good decisions and get that ball to the right guy for the right shot.
Cummings fanned on the shot. There was a little bit of a battle for it. Nelson comes up with it. Long stick defense in front almost gets in the way of it, as there's a shot that comes on from Smith, who just came onto the field. Goes out of play, but Nelson in the vicinity will scoop it up and resume action. Gets it back. Him and Gilman playing pitch and catch. It's Gilman holding, looking to sneak it in, and he does! So double hat tricks tonight so far. What a shot from Gilman, looking far post, banks it in. You can hear that clang. And it's now another goal for Wenatchee. 7-1, 7:59 to go in the third.
Dang near heard a hit twice. That's called a double piper in lacrosse. You hit the far pipe to bank it in, and then it's really hard as a goalie when it hits you in the back after going in. That's a bummer.
So now we've got a conundrum here after. We've got two players doing all the scoring so far for Wenatchee. Who we're going to get for our post-game show at this point right now. Maybe we have to do both of them if they continue.
I don't know. Neither of them are that interesting to talk to, honestly.
We'll take your vote for the post-game show pick, Thomas, but we'll have to see. 7-1 right now. Wenatchee with the lead, scoring their second goal of this third quarter, both of them coming from Gilman.
I might be a little biased, but as great a game as Gilman and Henry are having, Carson Reiner has kept it to one goal with something close to 8 saves like that. I mean, he's taking good shots, but he's making the saves he needs to. I mean, really, this game could be a lot closer if it weren't for him.
Especially that first quarter. We keep going back to that, but you're right. With Selah controlling so much possession in that frame, is they're going to get a chance here, and they will score. Right as we were praising Reiner, nothing he could really do there. Seth Height picks up the goal. Shortly after Wenatchee scores, it's Selah responding with 7:49 to go here in the third.
Nothing you can do on that. Selah, great ball handling. You're supposed to score that goal. They executed perfectly. Carson just didn't have anything for it.
Height's got both goals for Selah, and that comes just 10 seconds after Wenatchee scored. Brings it back to a 5-goal game, still with Wenatchee in the lead. Lights on here at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Been a beautiful day so far. Wenatchee looking to cap it off with a victory. Busy start to this third quarter of play. There were just 2 goals in the first quarter. At halftime, it was 4-1 Wenatchee leading. They've struck twice so far in this frame, both from Gilman, but Seth Height responding with his second of the game for Selah. Picked up his first one at the 9:21 mark of that second quarter.
Selah moving to a 3-3 formation there, putting Ray up top, making sure that he has a good opportunity in front of the cage. Although I'm surprised they're not utilizing him more at X like I faced him last year when I was the head coach Wenatchee.
Hey, Garza trying to get a little bit of a rush there. Nothing really going. Reiner will settle it, pass it toward his right side to Kreider. Kreider back to Reiner, pinching up a little bit on the attack, well out of his net. Right side is controlled, the long stick by Velasquez. Sends it up just over the reach of Ray, as it's controlled now by Smith. He's got a little bit of speed, cuts toward the middle, backs off. Work down low, now across to the far side to Nelson. Henry Nelson surveys the scene. Back up top comes to Smith, bobbles it, but recovers. 5-goal lead for Wenatchee, 6:30 to go in this third quarter. Here he comes, bringing it to the right side, backing off. Couple of defenders pinching ahead to him. So Nelson gets it, short side. He tries a sharp-angled shot, and that goes wide. Wenatchee should control possession still, and they will. Scooped up by Isaiah Cummings behind the net. Passes it to his left side to Gilman. Gilman over to Nelson. Nelson looking up top, and he'll feed it right there to Luke Smith. Smith gestures toward Nelson and sends it right to him. Pushed in front, trying a sneaky pass in front. Couldn't get it to go. Trying to connect with Jorgensen. Scooped up, though, by Cummings. Up top, flag in the air. There's some contact. And the ball just now settled by Wenatchee.
And that flag down while Wenatchee retains possession, they have an opportunity to score a goal and wave that flag. If they don't score a goal here or possession is changed, then the flag will go into effect.
Here's Nelson behind the net. Swings around far side, looking up top to Cummings. He takes some pressure, holds on to the ball, reverses course, sends it back to Nelson. Sharp angle, trying to get a shot off. It was tipped away before it got toward McCracken. I believe in front that was tipped. Looks like it was Elijah Washburn who got a piece of that. So now we'll see the penalty call. But as you mentioned, going against Wenatchee there. I believe so. It looks like they're going to retain possession in a moment here as Nelson's holding on to it far side. And I think it's actually going to be, might be against Selah, in fact.
Yeah, it looked like Cummings got hit in the back there.
So Garza is heading into the box for Selah. Wenatchee will control play. 5:27 to go in the third.
Yeah, Wenatchee's going to be one man up for 1 minute here, it looks like, for an illegal body check.
Nelson will begin the possession in the far corner. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Global Car Care. Your vehicle is their #1 priority. Diesels and European cars are their specialty. Pick up and drop off available. Stop by their website at globalcarcare.net. In front, tried to center that one toward Graves. Couldn't get it the first go. Wenatchee remains in control. Sorum to the left side to Nelson. Down low, now settled underneath. Looking in front, a couple times it was Graves with that center driving attempt. There's a shot from the far side. It's Nelson at the point, going just a bit wide. Wenatchee still in control, though. It's Matthew Job scooping it up, looking in front, looking short side. Gilman looking for another, couldn't get it to go. A little bit of contact in front, scooped up by Job on the far side. Job again behind the net. Dancing in front, sneaks it in, short side, and scores. I think he was almost surprised that actually worked. McCracken was looking the whole way for him to pass that, and Job, just the way he shook his head, I think was stunned that it went in.
Well, I saw a bunch of Wenatchee players looking for the pass. The only one who knew he was going to shoot that was Matthew Job. Everybody else thought he was going to pass it, including the defense, the goalie, everybody. Two that one right between the 5-hole.
Job's first of the game, first person not named Gilman, Jorgensen, or Nelson to score. Jorgensen getting the one in between those two hat tricks for Nelson and Gilman. It looks like timeout is called here. Wenatchee leading this one 8-2. They have scored a total of 3 in this quarter so far. We'll be back in just a moment here. We'll take a 30-second timeout before we continue play. 4:42 to go in the third quarter. You're watching the NCWLIFE Channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Timeout called a moment ago by Selah as we're just about ready to get back underway here at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Joel Norman alongside Thomas Bass. And Thomas, let's go back to that goal a moment ago. Job kind of sneaking in from the corner. The shot before that had gone out of play. Job brought it back in, cuts toward the net. No one really picked him up in front of that. I think that was too open of an opportunity, and probably the reason why Selah called timeout there.
Yeah, no kidding. First of all, Job can score. I've seen him do it plenty of times. He is absolutely that shifty. I guess what happened there for Selah is that they were so concentrated on those 2 hat tricks that had already happened, they forgot that there's 5 other people on the field.
Yeah, we've seen Job, for the bulk of the time that he's been on the field, he's been content to set up from behind the net. But that time just changed it up and went on the attack himself and was able to score. That made it 8-2. And here comes the face-off after that most recent goal. Up at the middle of the field, Charlie Jorgensen getting ready to take it for Wenatchee up against Ethan Garza. Jorgensen scoring once already tonight, a junior at Wenatchee High School, but it's controlled by Selah. They've been dominant on these face-offs, to say the least, but have not been able to translate that into offensive success in terms of getting the ball in the back of the net. They make a couple of substitutions and try to get something going here. Seth Height has both of their goals, one this quarter, one midway through the second quarter. Brought across by Ayala. Flag in the air. Ball is controlled on the far side. Now it's lost. Battled for on the ground. Still looking to see who's going to scoop this one up. Believe it's Wenatchee with it, but that was just for a moment as it's still fought for. Here's another flag, this time on the far corner. And we've got a lot to get sorted out here with 3:58 to go in this third quarter. Thomas, we talked about earlier about what happens when you run out of flags. Might have been having to see that actually happen there a moment ago had there been anything else going on.
This close, but recently, I believe in the last 2 years ago, there is no longer the ability to have 3 penalties on a play. So that ball was not controlled, but the fact that there was 1 flag down when the second one came out means that there is no longer the opportunity to go 3-man down. You can just go 2-man down. Play stops when the second flag comes out.
So Michael Ray right now is in the box. Cadell Velasquez heading toward the sideline. And the way he's going, yes, he will. He will also join him in the box. The officials are still going to chat just a little bit about this one. Brian Walker and Ryan Fancher. Slash on Velasquez, 1 minute. Two-minute penalty, it looks like, here on Michael Ray. And we went silent there. You might have also heard head coach Josh Davenport with the oh no there a moment ago. A little bit of a disagreement from the Selah side.
Well, the real issue that I'm sure that the Selah coach has is that it's a non-releasable. And what non-releasable means is that once a goal is scored, that penalty is still serving. If Selah scores, then Cadell's penalty is released and Wenatchee goes up. If Wenatchee scores, Ray is going to stay in the box, and it's going to maintain being a 5-on-6 situation.
So right now, though, it's still even strength, just both teams playing one down, though, correct?
Correct. And then until either Cadell Velasquez's penalty is released, he will stay in the box, or if Selah scores. If Wenatchee scores, Ray is staying.
Well, that's a tough blow there, especially we talked about Ray plenty controlling possession and kind of setting up a lot of attacks. That's a blow for the Vikings. You're not going to see Wenatchee complain about it. They've got a chance to really add some more breathing room. They lead by 6 right now, 3:58 to go. It's going to be Selah controlling it on the Wenatchee end. They're in the navy blue. This one is bombed up towards center. We've got a whistle, though. I think that came just before the whistle to get back underway.
Yep, just getting set there, making sure everybody knows where the ball is.
Now we're back underway. Dominic Ayala controlling it. Eases off. Now comes back in. Work down low, a little bit of miscommunication. He was trying to find Height once again. Height looking for the hat trick. Passed that one about 2 steps behind Height, and he didn't get an opportunity to get a shot off. Now here's Reiner. Thought for a second he might take that out. It's taken away at midfield by Selah. Garza jumping in, one hand on the stick, now 2. Gets a shot off and scores. Garza intercepts it nearly at midfield and makes Reiner pay on that turnover and gets Selah a goal. That makes it 8-3, 3:30 to go here in this third quarter.
The one place you cannot clear the ball is to the middle of the field, and you just saw why. It has to go up the outside. If it goes up the outside, you have time for your defenders to get back and get set. If you put it up the middle, the closest person to the goal is whoever picked it off. Even if you're the goalie, you're going to have an issue getting back to the cage before the person who picked it off did, and you just saw it there.
And we've seen Reiner not be afraid to jump out at all. I thought he had some space to run there, Tom. I was a little surprised that he didn't go out. There wasn't necessarily a clear pass to make, I thought, so I was surprised he didn't try to stretch the field out.
Well, the thing is, if you've got great stick skills like that, you always think you can thread that needle. Everybody's Drew Brees until they're not. And that just happened there. I mean, the most accurate guy in football, the most accurate in whatever. Sometimes they miss. Sometimes you get tunnel vision, and, Carson just didn't see that guy.
And she winning the face-off. Here's Nelson. Passes it to the right side, back to Gilman. 2 of them with hat tricks so far. Looking to see who else can get in on the action. It's Cummings.
And as you'll see, Selah just scored, so Wenatchee's penalty is not released. So they are still even at this point.
Brought out from behind the net to the far side. It's Job. He's Wenatchee's most recent goal scorer. A good response by Selah scoring a moment ago. As you mentioned here, a penalty being released. Jorgensen coming onto the field in place for Wenatchee. Nelson down low. Job, let's see if he tries another one from behind the net. Works it back toward Nelson. He's got a lane. He'll rip it. Catches a body in front. Back door, it's Nelson. I beg your pardon, Job looking to get it back toward Nelson, and he will. Nelson works it up top, straight away. There's a shot. Comes down a little bit low, bounces up and out. A play off that shot coming from Theron Sorum. And I believe that will be Selah possession. Sorum trying to bounce one in. They've been able to get a couple of those on McCracken so far in this one, Thomas. Couldn't get it to go on quite on net that time, though.
That was a great shot, honestly. The only problem with it is that Job didn't have backup, and I know it's hard for him to understand that or to recognize it on the field. But if you're the furthest attackman from the shooter, you're responsible for getting to that end line before anybody else, and Job just failed to do that.
Feels like the best time to try those bouncing shots is when you pretty much have a straightaway lane. It seems like maybe you do it from an angle sometimes, but it feels like the best time to do it is straightaway. Do you agree with me?
What you're looking to do, honestly, there is to change the goalie's eye level. Oh, just like that.
And there's a goal right there for Selah as they respond. It's Jaden James getting on the board. That's his first of the game, as they have scored back-to-back goals in this game for the first time tonight.
Wow, maybe Selah should just play with 5 guys on the field instead of 6. It seems to be working for him. It's a heck of a strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're outscoring Wenatchee 2-0 right now since the timeout. Now you're thinking, why didn't they call a timeout in the first, if that logic applies?
I mean, let's take their first or second best player and just put him on the bench. What a genius strategy.
Oh, it's been crazy how this has worked out for Selah. 3 of their 4 goals have come this quarter. All of a sudden, it's only a 4-goal lead for Wenatchee. At that timeout, we're talking about it's a 6-goal deficit for Selah. If Wenatchee can just get a couple here, you're probably thinking about just trying to milk the clock in the fourth quarter. But all of a sudden here, if Selah gets another one, this gets really interesting.
Oh, that's what you got to love about lacrosse. You can score 3 goals in 45 seconds. I've seen it happen.
Let's see what Wenatchee does here to respond. It's Nelson. Working it near side, wants it back. He'll get it. Pass comes from Charlie Jorgensen. Henry Nelson behind the net. All 3 of his goals coming in the first half. Meets a couple of defenders, passes in front. There's a shot and a goal. Wenatchee does respond. It's Luke Smith scoring off a feed from Olsen. And they get Nelson, beg your pardon, and they get the goal to make it now 9-4. $1:19 to go here in the third quarter.
Wenatchee needed that one if they wanted to stay on top as far as the mentality goes. Selah was just getting a little bit of life back in their lungs. Their blood was pumping. It was really important for Wenatchee to keep it in control and get that goal right there.
And you really saw how the defense just swarmed on Nelson as he came out from behind the net. That just really, he drew the defense in, fed Smith for a wide-open shot. A pretty clear lane there. It's going to be a tough one for McCracken to make that adjustment, and it's Wenatchee cashing in. So Smith gets his first goal of the game, making it a 9-4 game. There's a quick whistle right off the face-off.
Yep, Wenatchee getting a little tangled up there. You're not allowed to use your stick to restrict the movement of a player. You can use it to disrupt their passes or to strike them in the arms or chest, but you can't use it as a hook. And what happened there accidentally, I believe, is that Jorgensen's stick got caught impeding the path of the other player.
So after the infraction, Ayala passes it to his right. Dylan Huffines works it down low. Jaden James scored the most recent goal for Selah, but Wenatchee able to respond shortly after that. 36 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Wenatchee leading this one 9-4. Ray back out onto the field. First time calling his name since he was penalized earlier in the quarter. Ray trying to spin toward that right side. Might have taken a whack up high. Good defense right on him that whole way by Cadell Velasquez. Centers it in front. Bounces all the way over to Carson Reiner. And with 15 seconds to go in the quarter, let's see what he does. Scampers out of the net just a little bit. Passes it up. It comes towards center. 8 seconds to go for Wenatchee. Maybe one last little rush. Here comes Jorgensen the other way in front. And they do score with exactly 2 seconds to go. It's Gilman getting another one across to make it a 10-4 game. Good rush the other way. Smart decision by Reiner to get it all started. And it's Gilman with his 4th of the game to make it 10-4.
Well, you got to love lacrosse. I think that is 4 goals for the entirety of the game in the last 2 minutes between the two teams there. That is incredible. I got to love it. First of all, starts off with a great clear from Reiner and then into Cadell's stick, who had to do a 360 to get it into Jorgensen. Jorgensen, who did a magnificent toe drag, which is a little bit of a, not exactly a showboating instance in that instance, but got it down quickly within 2 seconds to get that shot off. That's impressive.
A strong third quarter for Selah, but Wenatchee was able to respond. After that timeout, momentum really shifting Selah's way, but as you mentioned, Thomas, we saw it jump right back in Wenatchee's favor as they get the goal with just 2 seconds to go from Gilman, his 4th of the game, and Wenatchee in a strong 10-4 lead as we head to the fourth quarter. Let's take a quick timeout and be back with the final quarter of action here from Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Come on, I'm a certified technician. I was trained to take good care of you. 9. I've only been to the dealer.
I've been coming here for years. These guys are great.
Look around. The BMW, the Jag, the Volvo, they're all waiting for regular service. Well, the BMW has a little computer issue, but that's nothing we can't handle. Come on in.
From regular maintenance to computer troubleshooting, trust the Global Car Care technicians with your import, diesel-powered, or domestic vehicle. Global Car Care. They speak your car's language.
Dankeschön. Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
So both teams just had their most productive quarter. 3 goals in the third for Selah. Wenatchee gets 5, and they take a 10-4 lead into this fourth quarter. Thomas Bass to my right. I'm Joel Norman here from Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Wenatchee against Selah in both teams' penultimate game of the season. Wenatchee's final home game. But we'll see Selah taking on Kamiakin a couple days from now. This week to start the weekend at 6 o'clock on Friday. But an action-packed third quarter all around, especially in the final stretch there. We saw a combined 3 goals in the final minute 49, Thomas, just right after you were saying, you can get goals in bunches just like that, and that's the beauty of lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, the most surprising thing is how many goals that Selah scored while they were man down. We were just talking about how the best idea is to keep your best player off the field and play with one less guy. Look what it did.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how that worked out for Selah. They were able to cash in. They got some momentum, but Wenatchee was really able to respond and get a couple of goals late. We saw Smith and Gilman scoring in that final minute 19 to regain that 6-goal lead for Wenatchee. 10-4 as we're just underway to begin this fourth quarter of play. Selah controlling plays. They work left to right. Dominic Ayala passes it to his right. In the near corner, Jaden James pumps it down low. Michael Wright penalized late in the third quarter, pushes it in front, and somehow Reiner gets a piece of that one, covers it up. We've got a whistle here. Reiner having a couple extra words in front. You saw that. A little bit of Ray had to kind of hold back Ethan Garza for a moment. That was an interesting exchange. And I think the penalty is going to come out of this on Wenatchee as August Kreider's going to head over toward the box.
They got him for a cross-check for 1 minute. He didn't have his hands together when he made contact with somebody.
Trying to clear out some space right in front of Carson Reiner, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's the kind of respect that Ray actually has out there. Him and Carson have been playing against each other for, I think, 4 years technically now. Or I guess 3 because Carson didn't start his freshman year. But those two know each other, and then when there were words exchanged, there's the enforcer there, a little bit of a Marshawn Lynch, like, hey, everybody, let's chill out.
Yeah, wait, hold off here. Wait a second. He's not going to do that unless he's upset. So Ray kind of showing some of his veteran leadership. He's got the ball right now. Flicks it to the right. Gets it back along the goal line. Now on the near side, it's going to be held by James. He scored Selah's most recent goal. Centers in front. Bobbled, otherwise that almost assuredly would have been a goal. Golden opportunity for Dominic Ayala. He'll scoop the ball up, but he lost it as Wenatchee corrals the ball. It's Graves spinning it out the other way. He'll backtrack a little bit and find Reiner. Long bomb pass downfield and tipped up near about the 25-yard line and controlled by Selah. Dice work the other way as Tristan Lawrence runs this one out into the Wenatchee end. Lost the ball along the way. Good defense from Cato Velasquez.
Oh, right there. It's difficult to recognize that the out-of-bounds line is blue, not white.
Yeah, big collision right next to Wenatchee's bench as Jorgensen went spinning once again. We talked about it. This is another back-to-back for Wenatchee. They just played last night, taking on Hanford, defeating them 10-5. Jorgensen's been shaken up a couple of times, and this is that point where the normal bruises and the bumps hurt plenty over the course of a game, but after doing it 2 days in a row in game action, it kind of feels a little bit tougher.
Yeah, after that one, after seeing him go down the second time that instance, I'm not going to be as quickly to write it off. This is a rough sport. You're wearing a helmet for a reason.
Hey, he scored after injury before in this game. Let's see if he can do it again if he comes back in the rest of the way. 10-10 to go in the fourth quarter. Selah controlling now. Again, going left to right. James comes in, gets a shot off. Nice job by Reiner to stop that one. Kind of hugging the post to make sure it didn't get in on that short side. Stretched out on the far side. There's a check at midfield. That goes right up against Jaron Larson of Wenatchee, who is still down. Contact coming from Jeremy Schmidt, defender for Selah, as you can still see Jaron Larson still a little bit shaken up on the far side. A freshman midfielder from Eastmont getting a little bit of action late in this game as he is still keeled over. An injury timeout with 9:48 to go in this fourth quarter. No scoring yet for either team in this frame. Again, we talked about that third quarter being the busiest frame for both teams combined. Wenatchee scored 5 times. Selah had 3. You know, that collision right there, unfortunately, Larson able to get up here. Kind of just one of those, it's going to happen. You're receiving a pass, the defender sees it, and he's got a step behind. He can kind of lay you out for one right there. A perfectly legal hit, just a big collision.
Yep, got him in the side and a little bit in the chest, which is, like you said, completely legal. Honestly, it's on the person who's passing it to him to see that that's lined up. I've had that happen to me where a defender, when I was in cage, lollipopped a pass to me. It was in the air for about 45 seconds, and a guy from the midfield saw it the whole way. Almost bit my tongue off when he took me out.
If you're on the opposing team in a situation like that, I feel like you're just salivating like a dog being teased with a bone, because you know you can kind of set yourself up for that kind of hit, and that's kind of exactly what happened.
Yep.
Wenatchee controlling out of the injury timeout. Lost it, though, 131 to another. Jonas Winterstein lost it. Now it's controlled by Garza. Passing to the far side a little bit too strong, looking for Seth Height. He's got 2 goals so far tonight.
Yeah, looking to push the pace there. They know that they need goals, so any long pass that is technically out of the way is going to keep going, man. You got to get that ball in the net.
Trying to up the ante just a little bit here. Wenatchee will make a substitution meanwhile. Sorum heads to the bench, back out onto the field. Cadel Velasquez. I believe that's the only change that Wenatchee will make. Selah's going to sub out a couple. Samuel Merrick just jumps on. Axton Height holding it, passes it to Merrick. Merrick fakes a couple of times, now works to his right side. Controlled by James. We've called his name plenty in this second half. He was shaken up briefly in the first, but has come back and been a force, helping with possession. Also got a goal in the third.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm surprised that Wenatchee isn't putting pressure on a feeder from X. With the effectiveness that he's had and knowing that he's not really going to drive doing that, why not get out on his hands, keep him from making a clean pass?
Good pressure by August Kreider a moment ago against Michael Ray. Has to reset, works it down to where James takes a big hit in front. Good pressure from Wenatchee. Physical bumping being applied by Andrew Mathena there. It's pushed in front, corralled by Reiner, bounces it ahead. Couldn't be handled as we've got a whistle. Winterstein was trying to control that one.
Carson intentionally missed his pass for the follow-through. Free clear.
Quick whistle.
Should be a free clear. Well, if I saw that correctly, that should be a free clear. Like we saw in the first half, Carson had a an offensive player in front of him in his follow-through while 1 foot is still in the cage, not allowed to make contact with him. That's what he was trying to do. We'll see if they award him with that.
You could see he was clearly aware that basically as long as he fully reached out there, that contact was going to be made, and you could kind of see in slow motion him doing exactly what he needed there.
There you go. It's a smart play on his part. It's might as well be the perfect pass.
There's some physicality, far side, flag in the air. As tumbling away goes Matthew Jobe. Jerry Schmidt, I feel like we called his name on a few checks so far in this game. As he's whistled. He'll head off here as Wenatchee makes a substitution. In comes Kenny Gilman. Out goes Derek Brault. And understandable to bring in Gilman in a situation like this. 4 goals for him so far. We were talking about who our post-game interview will be. And, you kind of tossed Carson Reiner's his name into the hat. And I've kind of been thinking about that one ever since. He's made a lot of big plays on this one.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Selah's only advantage is that they've been able to push in transition or get what we would call a garbage goal, a rebound or, a mishandle by somebody and kind of kicked in. But having said that, Henry and we've got Kenny there doing a really good job of working the ball around.
Yeah, so 3 different players certainly deserving of this one. As this one is brought out by Joseph McCracken, he's going to head toward midfield, out of his cage.
Let's go.
Here he goes.
Come on, buddy.
The far side, whacked out a couple of times, still got it. Now it comes out. He's got a long way to run back. If you're Wenatchee, they couldn't corral the ball. I was going to say, if you're Wenatchee, you want to really stretch this one out and try and catch him sleeping.
I've never seen it in person, so I'm always rooting for it as a goalie who has dreams of carrying 88 yards.
There's the shot, bouncing just in front of Reiner, and wide of the net comes from Ray. That's probably the best chance we've seen in this game. As Joseph McCracken, the senior at East Valley, rushed up, got near the 20-yard line, as there's Reiner leaping up to make a stop. Up about near that 20-yard line on the far side of the field, but just could not really get any further. Pass couldn't be corralled here by Wenatchee. Kreider couldn't get it from Reiner. Possession to Selah. 7:19 to go, fourth quarter. 10-4, Wenatchee leading this one. No scoring yet in this fourth quarter, but, the way things have been going so far, Thomas, every time we say something, either that happens or the opposite happens. So
we jinx it.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in a moment here. It's dumped down low to Ray. Ray looks in front, fakes it. Had me fooled for a moment. The defense looked as well.
I'm genuinely surprised that I have not seen him drive from X.
Kind of, I think, just one shot that's gone on net so far in this game as well. Dumped in low, trying to be snuck near side. Good job. It was James jumping out. Reiner met him before he could get that shot off. Stick on stick, ball goes out of play. Selah will control and try and get another rush.
Now, that's a save that Carson doesn't necessarily have to make, but he did it. That's a hard save to make, and he got tips on it.
You talk about a gamble as a goalie, but it was the right gamble there. He met him at the perfect moment. A second later, maybe that bounces in front and the rebound goes in.
Oh, trust me, you're not thinking about that. You just step in front of it.
Yep. Great job, though, to prevent a golden chance from going in. Wenatchee trying to settle it. Fanning a little bit on the pass. Graves. It's controlled again by Selah. Vikings on the attack again. Axton Height winding up, shoots wide. Might have caught a piece of the stick of Reiner. So he'll go to retrieve the ball.
Yep, and on a shot, even if it hits another player and then goes out of bounds, if it's declared a shot, it is still whoever's closest to it when it goes out of bounds.
Quick passing here by Wenatchee. Bobbled a little bit. We got a whistle.
We got a timeout here for Wenatchee.
They were on the defense a long time there, so understandable they'll call a quick timeout. We'll take one as well with 6:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. No scoring in this frame.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver. Shopping cart, because Les Schwab helps keep us safe with brakes, steering, and more. Eyes ahead, Dad! Know what those guys back there offer with their tires? Toilet paper. But Les Schwab gives us safety by the carload. Turn here! We're kind of a big deal here.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Tonight's high school lacrosse coverage on the NCWLIFE Channel is being brought to you by Rivercom 911, and they're hiring today. See what a career as a telecommunicator can do for you and what you can do for your community. Go to rivercom911.org to apply today. Also by Confluence Health, high-quality care close to home. Confluence Health is dedicated to improving their patients' health with safe, high-quality care in 12 communities. Just about ready to get back underway after the timeout that was called by Wenatchee. So they've used up both of their 2 timeouts this half. In fact, Thomas, they've used all but 1 in this game. We've only seen Selah call 1 in total, but kind of a good time for 1 right there. I thought they were kind of stuck on their own end defensively a bit, even with a bit of a rush the other way. A good time to just kind of settle things down late.
Yep, when you're playing defense for that long, you definitely need to give your guys a break. They have, it's a big field, man. If you got to run up and down twice, you are gassed. Much like in hockey, you're going to sub on the fly. You're going to sub every 2 minutes or so. Very similar. And once you've got the ball after a good stint like that, you've got the timeout. Why not take it?
And you're covering even more ground in lacrosse, too, so you're right. It's even if you are kind of going the other way, unless it's like a 2-on-none, basically, you might as well just whistle that one dead. Back underway here, under 6 minutes remaining in this one. Wenatchee leading 10-4. The only quarter they've held Selah without a goal so far is the first quarter. Neither team has gotten on the board here in the fourth.
Yep, right now you see Selah really pressuring the ball. They need it back. It doesn't matter if you lose 11-4 or 10-4. You need to start putting points on the board.
Wenatchee's in that spot where it almost feels like, unless it's a point blank or a golden opportunity, so to speak, you're going to be content to kind of run around like this and delay.
Yep, every minute off the board right now is worth 1 goal as far as Wenatchee is concerned.
Here's Nelson running around near side. Center's in front. There's a low-angled shot. Getting a piece of that one. McCracken on the offering coming from Matheson. Gets a piece of that, but Wenatchee controls and regains the possession underneath. They'll try to restart this one up just about a minute after this timeout. They've been in control ever since both teams got back onto the field. Here's Sorum, pestered all the way near the 30-yard line. Comes toward the middle, trying to wind up either with a pass or a shot. Lost it. Gets a couple of whacks in afterwards as Tristan Lawrence comes away with it. Not for long, though, as Sorum has it again.
Way to fight for that ball, man. That's a hard job that he's got to do there. He loses the ball and then has to fight for it back and just getting brutalized the entire time.
Joe with a pass over to the side, skipped off the stick. He'll get the ball once again here. See him backing off just a little bit as he feeds Nelson. Henry Nelson, 3 goals in the game. Back to Job. He's also scored tonight. Job dancing around. Skips up out wide. Pushed away. He'll pass it off. Thorin Sorum up top. Evan Mathena. Looks to his right a couple of times. Now does pass it over there to Theron Sorum. To the right, Gilman.
Yep, at this point, Wenatchee's still happy just to hold it and pass it around. Selah's got to make a move. They need that ball back.
You're kind of seeing them backing off a little bit unless Wenatchee runs in. As Nelson, he'll go on a rush himself right in front of the net, and he scores. Why not? There's another one for Henry Nelson, his 4th, as he matches Gilman's total, both of them with 4 goals in this one, and that makes it 11-4. And before that, you were talking about, we saw Selah kind of jumping out every time Wenatchee possessed. At that time, I think that's just Nelson taking advantage of a good opportunity. The defense isn't going to get you, then go after and go get another goal. Why not?
Well, those stick skills, again, Henry is just one of those players who can influence a game most of the time he wants to. And when you're playing a press defense like that for that long, you're going to overstep your bounds. What you're hoping is that when they turn the ball over and then Theron has to get the ball back there, that it goes the other way. Unfortunately for Selah, when actually you maintain possession, a 2-minute possession while you're pressing, can't handle it for that long.
Just pretty much jumped in along the goal line, center drive toward the net, and was able to get a goal, his 4th of the game. So we've seen Kenny Gilman and Henry Nelson now with 4 goals in this game. 11-4 Wenatchee, that goal coming with 3:44 to go here in this 4th quarter. Selah holding on to it on the far side. Now Wenatchee's right up against them. Driving in is Garza. He lost the ball. Trying to scoop it up. Whacked at. Lost control of it. Still loose in front of the net. You're seeing Wenatchee almost just trying to hockey it away from that center area.
Whatever it takes. You've seen both teams do that a few times. But get that thing out from in front of the net.
Finally scooped up by James. His shot was deflected. Went up high. Reiner didn't have to make a save. Went over to go get it. And he'll bring it out himself. There's the whistle back underway. 3:05 to go as that one almost, in fact, it was taken away. A turnover. Selah gets set up. Yeah. Chance in front. Big save off the knee of Reiner. How about that? James had a great chance. I think Reiner and everyone here thought he was going to go high. Maybe he fanned on it, but that goes low. Catches Reiner on the knee. Whether he intended that or not, a big stop.
Well, if you make a body save, what we always say as a goalie is that I had perfect position. My feet were in the right spot. My body is the biggest thing on me, not my stick. My body's about 5 times the size of my stick, so get your body in front of it, then use the stick to make a deflection.
So hard to do that just with your knee, though. I mean, how many times did you make a knee stomp like that?
Oh, my gosh. My thighs, my entire high school career, were blue and green for 3 months. That is not a joke.
No padding there, like we talked about before. That makes it even harder.
Right. You can use padding there, but there's sort of a pride among goalies, and none of us have, actually gotten through it and worn the pads past the middle school level. I don't know why. Back in the day, they used to play without any face masks, but that's because those guys were only shooting about 40 miles an hour. Right now, a high schooler, Henry's shooting at least 80, and I don't know why the goalies don't wear a little more protection, especially on those thighs there.
A little bit surprising. Just under 2 minutes to go in this one. Wenatchee in control, leading 11-4. Tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by Charter College. They work to get you to work. Find out about how to enroll today at chartercollege.edu. Nelson looking for 5. Fires from the goal line across. Goes all the way out toward the fence on the far sideline. 1:43 with a quick stoppage here to go in this fourth quarter. Looking at the scoring, only 1 goal here in this fourth quarter. That was Nelson with 3:44 to go, so just about 2 minutes, 2 seconds ago. Was that a play behind the net? Wenatchee still in control. Clock moving, under 1:30 to go. Scooped in front. Sorum with a shot, and he scores. Theron Sorum's first goal of the game comes with 1:23 to go in the fourth quarter, and that makes it now 12-4. Too much space in front, and he made Selah pay.
Yeah, I'd be looking for this kid to make a name for himself in seasons to come. Real young this year, I believe a freshman. Got to work with him a little bit during the winter season when we went over to Seattle and participated in a tournament. The kid has got dangles. He can score like that at a varsity level as a freshman, which is impressive. If you start with 1 or 2 goals in your freshman season, you have a really high ceiling.
Sorum, a freshman at Wenatchee High School. We've called his name plenty. He's been out here a lot. Face off now.
You gotta love that size, man. Just praying for some of these kids to grow over 6 foot.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Please, somebody be taller than me. Please.
For him to be that big as a freshman, though, you grow so much still at the high school level. You give it another year or two, and we're going to be talking about his name a lot in the next few years.
I mean, in high school, I was 5'11", and I was the second tallest guy on the team. I'm so happy that I've got 8th graders on my 8th grade team who are 6'1", who are finally taller than me. Goodness, let's get some size out here. Kids, ask your parents to feed you whole wheat all day.
Lots of milk. Lots of milk.
Yes, and 2 servings. It's not 1 Subway sandwich. You get 2.
That's right. And don't go skim either. Go whole fat because you probably need it. We need to gain a little bit of everything. So.
Well, I mean, you see how much these kids are running. You can't put weight on them.
Oh man, that's 48 seconds to go with this one. Calling all tall kids to the Wenatchee Valley. We're looking for them for the lacrosse program.
And thick. Tired of having these kids with too many ankles and elbows.
Tall and thick. They don't make them like that too regularly. So
well, I say that as our 2 leading scorers are Henry Nelson, who's 150 pounds dripping wet, and then KJ Gilman, who I don't believe is tall enough to ride the roller coaster.
Check on his height afterwards. There's a tumbling play toward the far side. Nice move. There's a shot. Goes a little bit wide, coming from Owen Graves.
Yeah, Owen doesn't have a goal yet, so why not?
Looking for one. 22 seconds to go with the clock running. Nelson will hang on to this in the corner. We'll see if he tries anything.
You hear "kill it" from Coach Parker. Hopefully that's the gentleman way it ended up. Or not.
No, Nelson coming in. He's got an angle, fires, and scores. Why not?
Okay.
4.9 to go in the game. Nelson tacks on. Kind of the way the other 2 goals were in this quarter. There was a lane. It almost would have been silly not to shoot it. Why not? But Nelson adds on. And that should just about do it after this faceoff. 4.9 to go in the game. As Wenatchee is going to pick up the victory and improve to 8-5. Selah will fall to 5-4, both with 1 game remaining on the season. And barring something, I'm almost afraid to say it. I'll say it anyway. 13-4. Barring the unforeseen, that's the final goal of the game with 4.9 to go. We did see that late rush at the end of the first half almost lead to a goal. Ray was camped in front, but we'll see. Here's the face-off.
It takes about 5 seconds to get the ball into the box of the opponent, so 4 seconds means it's not going to make it all the way there.
And that's not going to happen here as time expires on this one as Wenatchee picks up a 13-4 victory against Selah. A big victory here for Wenatchee. They came to play from start to finish. Carson Reiner, a really solid effort in net. Nothing allowed in the first quarter, nothing in the fourth. You really had to like how he came to play here in this one and how Wenatchee was kind of able to get some quick strikes early and then just control possession from there on out.
Yep, it was just a tale of one game, really. Not really two halves or 4 quarters. Wenatchee dominated from front to back. Selah came out and did what they needed to do to try and quell that high-powered offense, but, in transition and when their opportunities arose, Wenatchee took advantage of them.
And they did do that, exactly. Nelson with 5 goals in this one, Kenny Gilman with 4. Lots to love about this one. We've got more coming in a moment here on the post-game show as we'll take a quick break and be back with more in a moment here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Yes, it's me. It's my husband. I think is there something the matter with him?
It was a feeling that I'll never forget, like being able to meet them and know that he survived.
Okay, tell me what's happening. Is he conscious? No, he's not. He's not. Okay, take a deep breath for me. I'm getting you help.
Rivercom means to me that I still have my husband here with me. They're the ones that guided me through saving his life.
The new Hummer EV is everything you want in an all-electric vehicle. It's powerful, reliable, comfortable, and will take you anywhere you want to go, on-road or off. Why buy one of those lesser EVs when you can have one that uses them for traction? Order your Hummer pickup or SUV today from Sangster Motors, batteries included.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can use this one. Time warranty.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE Channel.
Well, it's a 13-4 victory here for Wenatchee over Selah in their final home game of this season. Joel Norman alongside Thomas Bass. Thomas, a lot to like about this one here for Wenatchee. Early on, we saw a lot of possession for Selah. Wenatchee was kind of able to cash in on the fast break to really get their first goal, and then a couple more after that. What did you think was the biggest thing for them to pick up the victory tonight?
Well, obviously, you got to start with the 2 leading goal scorers. You've got Gilman and you've got Nelson. Gilman with 4, Nelson with 5. Those 2 combined came up with 3/4 of their goals. If you can't stop those guys, I mean, you're going to have a hard time winning.
Nelson matching his season high with 5 goals in this one. Gilman he got the one in the first half, really coming on late in that second half as well. Kind of starts at the top right there. The star power just kind of took over in this one. We talked about the possession really going Selah's way. I think sometimes that's what it comes down to. It's just sometimes your star power is going to take over, and that really came through for Wenatchee tonight.
Yeah, the one that I was actually really surprised with is Gilman's goals. 2 of them came with very little angle, so they weren't, right in front of the cage. They weren't gimmies. He had to sneak it past the goalie, hit the pipe, and have it go in. He did that, I think, twice, which is very impressive, especially for a young guy like him.
Yeah, that one sharp-angled shot on the goal closer to us to our left. I remember that near side. That was probably my favorite goal of the game. Yep. The double piper. What was the name you had for it?
Double piper.
There we go.
What I tell everybody is the pipe is worth 2. If you hit that, that means you're a sniper.
So really then 5 goals for him as well.
That's right. Yes, exactly. And if you count it twice, that's 4 and 5. Yeah, you got it.
Keeps adding up.
Yeah.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the effort from Carson Reimer and net. A lot of stability that first quarter, nothing allowed. A lot of good opportunities for Selah. Fourth quarter staying strong. He looked really solid from start to finish tonight.
Kid's got fast hands. He's like a Jedi out there.
And it's fitting that it happened today on Star Wars Day, of course.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it is. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
Yeah.
So I thought you were doing that on purpose, bringing that up today.
No, I just all goalies are Jedi. Every one of them who can deflect something like that, they're Qui-Gon Jinn out there.
Used his knee for a big save in that 4th quarter as well. Really big stops from him all night long. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll be back with some post-game interviews here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Wenatchee head coach Brandon Parker joining us after his team's victory here tonight. Really solid performance from you guys from start to finish. I'm Joel Norman here on the NCWLIFE Channel. And first off, you brought a guest here with you here.
Yep, I do have my daughter Ellie, who has been a supportive person of me as a coach, and so I just wanted to bring her in and let everybody know I'm a proud dad. And happy that Ellie comes and watches our games. So
well, yeah, look at that.
Oh,
nice
and
moment.
we wanted to say hi to Grandma, who's in San Diego, right? Say hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
Yeah, Grandma's in San Diego watching. So, anyways.
Oh, there you go.
Thank
And Ellie, you get your, I assume, your television debut?
Yeah, I think so.
A nice opportunity, absolutely. Let's talk about this game, though. From start to finish, kind of in control. That first quarter, I felt like was really the only stretch where I felt like there might have been a chance for Selah to get out ahead early on. They dominated possession early on. What was your message to your team throughout to keep them at bay?
Well, we've had this tendency every game to come out a little flat, and then we end up putting our foot on the gas pedal a little more as the game goes. So it was that conversation after the first quarter of we've got to put our foot on the gas, we've got to bring the pressure, and we've got to play with more intensity. So, yeah, it was a good game that first quarter, and they had a lot of possession, and then we just, I think, picked it up a little bit and brought a little more intensity and wanted this game.
And really cashed in on a couple of fast break opportunities in that first. I mean, you just talk about the speed killing, and that was, I felt like the difference early on. And then you guys kind of, like you said, you kept your foot on the gas because, you know, you're playing a back-to-back. They were down a few players, though, and I think that something you guys knew you kind of had to do throughout the game?
I didn't know anything about what they were bringing. I know we've got some injuries, and we've had some guys, and we have a lot of young kids playing on the team, and there were at one point 5 or 6 freshmen out there. Mm-hmm. So the future of Wenatchee lacrosse is going to be amazing with all the young kids coming up, and we've got some 8th graders that are also coming in. But I think, you know, the big thing I'm proud of in what we talk about and teach is that they always keep their heads straight, they stay positive, they respect the other teams, the other players, and they just give it 100% the whole time. And to me, that's what's really the win, is being able to play a tough game, congratulate your teammates, go see your fans, and stay positive.
Yeah.
And luckily we came out with the win.
Absolutely. Nice to have all of those things going in the right direction here tonight. You talked about a lot of talent's going to be coming in, have some talent coming out. Last home game for some of these seniors. Talk about what some of these guys have meant. We saw a lot of it on display tonight.
Yeah, 2 seniors. That's what we're graduating. So our goalie, Carson, and the guy that had, I think, the most goals tonight, Henry. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, they both have been great contributors to this program for many years, 4 years in the high school program. We will miss them, but they set themselves as role models for the kids moving up. So you'd want to be like either one of those 2 graduating seniors.
And they were both fantastic in this game.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have them on in a moment. Henry Nelson, the 5 goals. Carson Reiner, I thought he made some huge
unbelievable saves. This was a great game for Carson to go out as his last home game. With all the effort he's put in, he made some unbelievable saves tonight.
What was your favorite? I like that one he had with his knee in the third.
Oh, yeah. There was one where he saved it with just the stick part. He had a couple of one-on-ones, and those are the most difficult to defend. So, and he's picked off a couple passes, made some great feeds up the field. he was just perfect tonight. So, and they only scored. I mean, to play a game and only have 4 goals scored against you, that says something.
Yeah,
so.
and only 1 in the first half too. I think that's worth noting too.
That's another great stat. Yeah, that actually, I'm going to be proud of that one too. So, yeah, it was a great game, and once again, I totally appreciate what you guys do and how you cover all the local stuff, and especially lacrosse. And tonight was a great win for us and the team.
Well, Brandon, we really appreciate your cooperation all year. Thank you for this.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us here on the postgame show.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Brandon Parker joining us. We'll have more in just a moment. Stay tuned here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35-plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
And we're back here one last time from Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. I'm Joel Norman. We're joined by 2 of the heroes from tonight's games and the 2 seniors on this Wenatchee squad as well, as Wenatchee picks up the victory over Selah, as Carson Reiner and Henry Nelson joining us. Henry, let's start with you. A really solid job in this one with your 5 goals. You got that one late as well, kind of time winding down, but you matched your season high for goals regardless. What did that mean to be doing that in your last home game?
It means a lot, especially because this is my last home game, as you said. So especially that last one, there was only 15 seconds, and they put a short stick on me. There's not much else I could do besides take them. So.
Yeah, you kind of really jumpstart the attack in that first quarter. As there were some rushes early on for them. They kind of had a few sustained attacks. We'll get to that in a moment with Carson. Some big saves along the way. But, you know, Henry, you were able to get some goals to kind of get things going. What did that feel like, especially that one on the fast break where it felt like, you know, you get that. It felt like that kind of energized you guys a little bit.
Right. So every time we score, it kind of re-energizes legs, and we get a new set on the field. So it helps really kickstart the team as a whole, and then especially the offense, as you said.
And Carson, let's talk to you about some of those saves that first quarter. You know, for a while we were wondering, you know, how few is he going to let up? A really solid first quarter. You were tested early on. How'd you kind of stand tall amidst all that pressure?
I mean, we've played them before, so I know a few of their moves. They really like to drive in and then shoot on crease, so I just had to track their stick and match it. That was about it for the first quarter.
And it felt like after that, things kind of slowed down a little bit. You know, you guys were playing on a back-to-back as well. We saw them kind of slowing things down. Did the game feel like it was a little bit easier down the stretch?
Definitely in the third and fourth. The second, they really picked it up. They were really driving, and our defense wasn't quite recognizing when to slide, but we pulled it together and figured it out.
I was talking with your head coach a moment ago about his favorite save that you made tonight. What was yours?
I got to say my last one. I like having my last save be offside high stuff on him, so that was a good one to end on.
This one's for both of you. You know, what was it like here, you know, competing in the back-to-back game where you played last night? It seems like these haven't really been an issue for you guys, and I think we would all totally understand if you were a little bit worn out after a couple of these games. What did it mean to kind of have that same energy, and what did you guys have to do tonight to bring the same energy regardless of playing the night before?
I mean, this whole season we've had a lot of back-to-back games, so we've kind of gotten used to it. I think every game is different, so it's like you use different people, and people get hurt and people don't, so we have other people come in.
Right. And then the start of the game is always the most important, so I like to pregame with 4 ibuprofen and 2 cups of coffee. Really get it going. But really, it's just about the team and about bringing people up. And back-to-back games, they're challenging, but we can get through them.
What kind of coffee are we talking?
Just Keurig, whatever's
Keurig, whatever's at home?
I'm not buying
So is that something you'll have to continue as a routine moving forward?
Right.
Oh, there we go. Well, awesome job here, guys. Nice job, not just tonight, but this season as seniors. Thanks for joining us here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
All right, thank you.
Well, that wraps it up here for our coverage.
Are these waterproof?
These ones?
I did not.
I didn't even see them come in, so I was like, why is he asking me this? But there we are. That's live TV for you folks. That does it for our coverage here tonight from the Apple Bowls. Wenatchee defeats Selah. Thank you for joining us on the NCWLIFE Channel.
The shot, and beautiful!
Thanks for watching high school sports on your home for local high school sports, the NCWLIFE Channel. Today's broadcast was brought to you by Biosports Physical Therapy, Charter College, Confluence Health, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Les Schwab, One Way Construction, Rivercom 911, Save Mart, and Sangster Motors. Stay with us all year long for high school sports on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE Channel. We now return to regular programming already in progress.